It's 1960. Satellites are a new thing. Cuba is suddenly communist. The Beatles are a local band few have heard of outside Merseyside. And television adverts are, for the first election cycle, something that the majority of US voters will see. The two previous presidential elections have been the first to employ televised adverts. But in 1950, just 9% of US households owned a television set. As the calendar flips to January 1960, it is now 87%. Enter some legendary political advertising, and it might surprise you how familiar it feels. John F. Kennedy's 1960 televised campaign adverts were groundbreaking, but they're so standard now, it's hard for us to see. They contained many firsts. These adverts were largely the product of two advertising firms, Guild, Bascom, and Bonfigley, a San Francisco-based political consulting firm hired by the Democratic National Committee, and the second, Jack Denevey Productions, hired by Kennedy himself, whom he had used during the primary campaign and so had already been working with. This team creates over 200 televised adverts for the campaign. It may seem excessive, but think of it this way. There's no social media. Kennedy's speeches and QAs aren't being streamed. There's the radio and newspapers, but aside from that, television is the only way to see clips of the candidates themselves, their body language, mannerisms, and theatrics, unless you go to a movie theatre. Kennedy employs a wide variety of appeals and attacks. And it isn't all about the communist threat, Cuba, or Nixon. Yes, it's 1960, and daily costs appear to be rising. Meet the Sills family.
Recently, John F. Kennedy visited the Sills.
Mr. and Mrs. Sills are facing one of the great problems that all American families are now facing, and that is the great increase in the cost of living.
Our rent has gone up, our food, our cleaning of our clothing, buying of the clothing, our gas and electric, and our telephone bills have gone up.
What's been your experience, Mrs. Sills, as far as keeping those two daughters of yours going?
We're very concerned with...
You can see the body mirroring here. They're both sitting cross-legged. Both have similar expressions on their faces, similar actions with the hands, showing comfort with each other. To me, that's more than a look of political approval. This was the first televised advert where a candidate went to a family home and sat down to discuss the cost of living with them. It made Kennedy look very relatable, look like he cared, and took the advert and Kennedy himself quite literally and figuratively into many people's homes. It's August 24th. President Eisenhower has been asked what major idea Vice President Nixon has contributed that the president has adopted.
But listen to the man who should know best, the President of the United States. A reporter recently asked President Eisenhower this question about Mr. Nixon's experience.
I just wondered if you could give us an example of a major idea of his that you had adopted in that role as the decider and final...
If you give me a week, I might think of one. I don't remember. Because...
Here his answer is more than verbal. It's the whole image. He's crossing his arms. He appears to show a bit of disapproval when he turns his head, the movement of the eyebrows, the corners of the mouth. No Kennedy at all. But did you see him? You didn't, but of course you did, because it's Kennedy who walks away from this. Medicare is an issue. It usually is.
Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States. One of the problems which concerns me most is our failure to meet the problem of medical care for our older citizens. Some of them are in ill health. Some of them are in your family. And yet under present law...
Sometimes zooming in is best, but sometimes zooming out is better.
They must take a pauper's oath.
As a visual advert, this would have been more standard at the time, but as a topic, it's certainly not one from yesteryear.
People during their working years would want to contribute, so that when they retired, when they reached the age of 65 for men or 62 for women.
JFK's team hits it from all sides. Hollywood actors. In 1960, everyone knows Harry Belafonte. He's one of Hollywood's top stars.
Hi, my name is Harry Belafonte.
Notice the Oscar
I'm an artist,
in the background.
I'm not a politician. But like most Americans, I have a great interest in the political and the economic destiny of my country. I'm seated here with Senator Jack Kennedy. As a Negro and as an American, I have many questions, and I'm sure everyone does, about civil rights, about foreign policy, about the economy of the country, and about things that'll happen.
And I want to make it very clear.
Whereas previously we saw with the family someone down to earth you can talk to. Here, maybe this is someone who has the seal of approval from authority. You see different body language from the Sills family here. They're not mirroring each other, but Harry Belafonte is leaning in. He seems interested. Kennedy appears relaxed. And the thinker's pose appears to add credibility to the argument. Nowadays, this is, of course, pretty standard.
Vote for a leader like Roosevelt.
It's Jackie, and Jackie hablando española.
John F. Kennedy, candidato a la presidencia de los Estados Unidos.
This was the first entirely non-English televised presidential advert. At the time, it would have been quite unusual. Jackie spoke Spanish, and in Italian, and in Polish, and in French. The latter three were only on the radio, though, and were not televised. Additionally, those 3 radio adverts don't appear to be in the digitized archives. Candidates' wives were commonly seen on the campaign trail and in adverts, but this was another way that made the candidates more relatable to everyone. Candidates' wives had appeared in adverts before and were always seen on the campaign trail, but this advert is more about Jackie than Jack. You come away remembering her, not him, but because you remember her, you remember him. Notice the difference in background. A very minimalist decor compared to some of the other backgrounds. All of these add together in the advert to add a wide variety of individual messages that come together to create one strong message. Whether it be simple and down to earth, or accomplished and authoritative. So much of this was pioneering, but it's really hard for us to see sometimes because it's so standard now. It's the 21st century, but in many ways, as we can see, campaigns are still 1960.